Welcome to Colorflow Conversations, where we flow freely, speak boldly, and connect colorfully. I am Keisha, and this is
Takesha,
and
and
welcome
welcome
to
to
our
our
girl
girl
chat.
chat.
I figure I was gonna say it with you today, girl. I have been. Well, thank y'all for joining us because you see, I'm about to go right into the girl chat.
You always do.
I
You be like, so girl, so I
well,
listen.
right. Listen, it is something that I like wanted to talk about. I've been on social media too much, so I got to get off of it. But there's so many topics that's been going on that's like piqued my interest, and one of the things that where I've been seeing is like narcissists. We always talk about narcissistic people in relationships, like husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, but we don't really talk about narcissistic friendships or family. Have we talked about that before?
I don't remember yesterday.
Yeah, and so I was like thinking about the people in my life and thinking of and doing self reflection and wondering if I had narcissistic tendencies at any point in my life, and I believe I did, and I was like, wow, that that really stuck out to me. That I and it wasn't like no time recently, but I remember in earlier years of my life where I felt like entitled and felt like things should go my way.
Because I
And
was getting ready to say, do you think, because I believe that the core of a narcissist is just selfishness.
absolutely. And when you're in that, you're not aware, you're not trying to be self-aware of your selfishness. And I do remember times in my life where I was very, very selfish, and at the same time a people pleaser. So how does that work?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just
That's a
jack,
combo for you.
just jacked up all around, like selfish. Um,
I can see it though. And how I see it, not saying that this is your story, but how I picture the two working together is if my goal is to be in a relationship and that's all I care about, that's my priority. I'm people pleasing who's ever going to meet that. But then I'm going to be
selfish
selfish
with
in my other relationships around
exactly,
me.
yes, and that's exactly what it's been.
Or
Um,
I'm going to manipulate those relationships strictly for my benefit.
yeah,
But yet
yeah,
the core that I care about is where the people pleasing is
yes,
going
where
to
the people
be.
pleasing has been, yes, and I really
I like your hair like that. It's
thank
really cute.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell my daughter because she was like, no, just put it to the center.
No, it's cute.
Yeah, I was like, how you like this, Gabby? She was like, mm-mm, I like it the other way.
Let me say this and then we gonna go back. But I always feel like when the younger generation, when they be like, yeah, they don't like stuff, that's when I be like, am I old? Because when they don't like, I be like, am I old? Am I not as hip as I think I am? Because why you don't like this? Because we be fire. You look good, friend. So
Yeah, listen. Are we talking about narcissistic? I think I told you yesterday that I met a really, really young man, young, really young, little. that
I'm like, did you? I barely, but
you
you
remember?
did. I remember now.
Yeah, and um, he asked me how old I was. And I told him, and I was like, "You think I'm old?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "What?" We kind of laughed, but then in more conversation with him, I noticed narcissistic like attributes in him.
But I also wonder sometimes when you're confident, do other people interpret that as being narcissistic?
I don't believe that, like confident and leader, all that kind of goes together. But I believe that a good leader can listen. And if you're a person that's not going to listen, even if you're confident, you could be confident, but you still need to listen to somebody sometimes.
I agree.
Sometimes. If you believe that
Because leaders need to be led.
leaders need to be led. And if you're not, listening to anybody, you don't think you have to listen to anybody at all, then That
We have a
goes on the
problem.
narcissistic. That's a problem. There's a fine line, I believe, with saying I'm just confident, or
And I believe true confidence is just understood.
you don't have
It's
to say.
carried.
You don't have to say it,
Yeah, it's carried in your aura.
girl. Did I tell you about that man I used to date that used to tell me he was my leader? Like he had to tell, he was telling me, I'm your leader. God put me in your life to lead you. And I was like, if you have to say you're my leader, you're not my leader. You don't have to keep reiterating you're my leader. First of all, you're not my leader because we're not married. You're just trying to, hurry up and rush and marry me. I'm a wife, so people don't want to marry me. But he kept saying, I'm your leader. And I was like, you don't have to say you're my leader.
Sidebar, you and my sister are the same person, because today I was just like, so if your person came along and he didn't want to get married, how would you feel about it? And she was like, I'm a wife. Okay, period. Period.
Why are me and her the
Y'all
same?
are the same. And that's literally, she was just like, I'm a wife. Like,
and that is why
that,
when.
so let me say this about that relationship. I wish I could remember the quote exactly, but it was Jill Scott, and she had made a comment about like being led, because you can lead me, but you got to be the right person that can lead me. Like everybody cannot fall into that.
Yeah.
And if you telling me like, so God told you, but he ain't tell me, I'm gonna know first.
And if you're saying it to me and I'm looking at you, and that was the first relationship I had where I literally would just be quiet. I was like, because I was listening intently because I was just seeing something that I was like, this is not right. And he would get so mad, like, you're stonewalling and you won't reply. I really had nothing to say because I knew I'm about to walk out the door and I'm not coming back. And when I walked out the door, and it was so crazy because we were at his house and he had never done this before. He moved my car where he can block it in his driveway. He put my car behind here, and I was like, what are you doing? And I knew, I was like, everything be spiritual. Y'all don't be paying attention. That was the night he was going crazy telling me, I'm your leader. God put me in your life to lead. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, what is, I got to get out of here. And I never looked back. Like, you just got to recognize the signs. But I think that I also attracted narcissistic things. And maybe because younger years, I was a people pleaser and I had the narcissistic tendencies. Maybe I was attracted to narcissists.
I believe that we attract, not necessarily, because people will be like, you attract what you are, whatever. I think sometimes it's just possibly lessons. And I think that they become repeated when you don't learn or recognize. And because we live our lives a lot of time in go versus self-reflection, because self-reflection requires you to slow down. So when you slow down, and you reflect on the situation, your role for being accountable, and whatever, the role of it is from the other side, being open-minded, like we talked about last week, seeing their view, because it's very important to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Girl.
Everybody in your life.
Yeah.
Everybody in your life, the people who you're dealing with regularly that mean something to you, you need to put yourself in their shoes, how they feel. And I even think about you as simple terms as being a makeup artist. You want your client to walk away feeling their very best self.
Yes.
So that is a part of you putting yourself in their shoes, creating that beautiful face like you did with my lashes. Okay. Okay. Because she transformed the sister. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. I do a lot of self-reflection. I've been doing it for a while now. A lot of self-reflection on a lot of stuff. And I often think about people even when I'm in their presence, especially when they're talking, do they do self-reflection? Because we could be talking about somebody else, or and I'm just saying it's an example because I ain't really into gossip or whatever. I'm just saying you could be talking about somebody else and what they did or what they done to you and whatever, and you haven't self-reflect on what have you done in that.
Yeah, but why are you truly the victim?
Why are you the victim? Exactly. Why
what
are you
is
the
causing
victim?
you to be the victim? Like,
Yeah.
I hear your story,
Yeah.
but what's the deep rooted issue that's causing you to
Yeah.
be the victim in this story?
Exactly.
I believe that
Exactly.
I did a lot of self-reflection, like even earlier in life, like 20s. But I think I got to a point where I stopped. And I kind of was just living in on the go. And I believe that my biggest lesson in my adult life was with a narcissistic individual. And it really caused me to self-reflect, and more on the way, whereas I learned that my people pleasing was for the wrong people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we say people pleasing, and when we use it in context, we're using it as it's such a big negative. But sometimes you do need to please the people in your life. You need to show them gratitude.
Yeah, because it is always put as a negative.
Yes.
Just like the grooming word is always used as a negative. But if you're grooming in the right way and teaching, because grooming is teaching and training, if you're doing it in the right way, then you don't put a negative connotation on it because it's a good thing. I want to please somebody.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm a wife. Me and Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany.
Yes.
Look, usually it's you saying that, and I'd be like, girl, I'm all right either way. But I know I'm a wife. But
I'm a gold digger.
You are not a gold digger. Ain't no man ever that you have been involved with that I know you got with nobody for no money or what they had.
I know. This is why we're talking about present day.
And you still ain't one because that's why you ain't attracting them, because you ain't no gold digger. You saying I'm a gold digger, but no, you're not.
I need some gold.
You want some gold.
Need.
You have everything you need. You do. You have everything. I'm a believer that we have everything we need. Now we want more. We want more. Yeah.
I need to sleep in the mornings. I don't have that.
Okay.
I'm very grateful, but I need to sleep in. I'm tired. I've been working many years where I should be retired now. Okay? 11th grade, 1992. It's 2025. Okay? I need some gold.
Wait a minute. You're not a gold digger, though. We gonna put that out there, because she never did for no gold. You want somebody who is established, and because my father is never been rich. He ain't never been,
Keisha, this is where, you know how it'd be like, my regular ain't your regular?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so regular. First of all, Barbara and Banks, they rich. Yeah, okay? I don't care what you about to say. In my eyes, they are rich.
Yeah.
Period.
They are.
It might not be the 30-bedroom house, but I'm just saying. My level of rich, and I talk about being rich all the time. I do. But I don't know if I've always put it whereas it got to be.
What type of rich you want to be?
What type of rich it is.
You want to be Banks and Barbara rich?
Yes.
Okay.
They're luxury rich.
That's attainable. Absolutely.
They're luxury rich, where they can assist their children if they need it. They don't have to be no Walmart greeter or anything. You know what I'm saying? If they were to do something, it's literally because they want to do it.
Yeah. And they got the means to do it and still not be broke.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I want. I want the rich that's a comfortable luxury, and that's luxury. I
think our rich is the same then. That's to me, that's the type of,
because like you rich. I want to be equally rich. And I be feeling bad. We done jumped the whole topic. I be feeling bad because I never want to come off as ungrateful and that I don't appreciate what I have. But I said this maybe a few months ago to one of my friends, and I don't know if I said it to you, but I was just like, I feel stagnant. I feel like I haven't had any major changes in my life.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I need more than just a home makeover. You know, like new furniture is not going to solve this.
Yeah.
I'm just ready for new. I'm ready for a shift. So it's not that I'm ungrateful. And like I say all the time, if I got to work that job that I am at right now, I decree and declare that that's going to be the only job.
Yeah.
You know, but
absolutely.
I would like the flexibility of where it's just like all I'm doing full time is counseling people who I want to. We got to work on that, sidebar. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
because getting up at 5 a.m. to report to a job was insane for me. I used to could do that. But my spiritual being, she is not connected to my earthly body anymore. So the things that used to make sense and would probably put me more in a state of gratitude, because I feel like I come off ungrateful, but I'm truly not, because I do have a good life. It's not hard. I'm not driving nowhere. 90% of the time I work in pajamas. You know what I'm saying? So
because somebody else probably will look at your situation like, I wish I had that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and so I appreciate the ease, because my dad tell me that all the time, and I'd be like, sir, but I want your life.
And he probably be looking like,
he'd be like, I had to work hard to get here. And I'd be
like, and Banks and Barber, they did.
So that's when I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, this storyline ain't for you.
It didn't come with ease for them to get where
they
are now. It took some hard work.
And I have mad respect for that. And I actually am really grateful that they, based on the work that they did, that they can reap these rewards and relax in their latter years of life. I'm just burnt out and I'm just ready now. And I promise the good Lord, I am not ungrateful. I just want to chill. That's it.
Look,
but I don't want it to attract it from a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? Like, back to that.
And that's the thing. A lot of times it will attract a narcissist, because a lot of times people with money, and I'm not just talking about men, I'm women too, because I know some big time women narcissists, and I recognize them to be like, ooh, they probably worse than the men. Sadly, but you can attract a narcissist with money, and then it becomes about control, and you know, I'm over you, I'm the boss of you, and you definitely don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to go from one fake prison to
another. Yeah, that part. So and it's and you don't realize it until you are deeply into it, and then it'd be like, dang, I'm kind of in this, and how do I get out of it? Now, me, I don't have a hard time no more. I just be like, I'm out. Bye.
I've never had a hard time walking away. I think maybe one point in my life that I struggle with it, but for the most part, I'm a miss get it gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm just gonna say my truth. Most of the guys that I talk to, I've always sunned them, because like I've had everything that I needed. So
yeah,
what are you?
You said you've always sunned them.
Yes, SON. This is my house. This is my car. And at one point, I'm making $100,000 a year. Like, I put my son through college. Sir?
What you got?
What you got?
What you got?
Some wiener? I'm good. Like, that ain't nothing.
And that's where you meet a man that tries to humble you.
Yeah.
Because I've had people try to humble me. I mean, I've married people that tried to humble me. Like, wow, sit down, girl, be quiet. You know, why you got to be in charge? I'm a natural leader. And you know who's a great example of this right now? That's why I say I've been watching too much TikTok. Tiana Taylor. I don't know if you've seen. She's dating that guy, Aaron Pierre.
Mm-mm.
from Mufasa. Did you see Mufasa?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wasn't
But I'm like, I don't
Mufasa.
know the
You don't know
voices. Yeah, I know the
okay.
characters. I know the
When
storyline.
when she was married, she had a strong masculine energy. And her dating Aaron Pierre now, she's still the same person, but you can see a softer side of her that is coming out with him that you just did not see when she was married to Iman Shumpert, the basketball player. They both was hard and yelling and loud. And with Aaron Pierre, you could just see her just being in her feminine.
I wonder if that relationship brought that out of her, because I finally was in one situation that triggered where it was just like, oh, I don't want to son nobody that I talk to.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to carry, and I'm not talking about financially, but just carry myself as in control and like back to the thing, lead me.
That
I want to
part.
be in that.
I want to
be not in that, in this, because I've learned to be in my femininity, in my singleness.
Yes.
And still while holding down everything that I just said that I had to hold down before.
That part.
It's just now I've learned like, oh, you can still do this and be feminine and be soft.
Yes.
A lot of times people will look and be like, oh, you're too soft or you're too hard, when you really can have a balance as a woman. I never want a woman to tell another woman that she can't do something because she's too soft. Because you need to look in the mirror and figure out what's wrong with yourself. Because at the end of the day, as a woman, I should be soft at all times. Even if I am in a leadership position.
Yeah. I just
Kamala never gave me non-softness.
Kamala, look at how she is with her husband.
She's never gave me that.
She never gave me non-softness. She always gave me leader, and he gave me leader too, but they balance each other in a way where she didn't have to man up, or dumb herself down to be in her position. It was just, I was just having this conversation with somebody about that with women in leadership, specifically politics. And I don't know. I feel like we should still be able to be in our soft feminine, our girly, and still be able to be recognized as a leader.
Because we always say like there's a time and a place for everything, but who you are at your core is who you are. So at your core, you're a leader. You're going to make things happen. That's just at your core. But even if you're at a different event and it's a softer side of you, that does not take away who you are at your core as a leader to make things happen.
Do you believe that if we are more feminine and we're leaders, like we the leaders of our house, we the heads of our house, we do our thing, I'm the leader of my business, people listen to me, even in my other affiliation, when I walk in, everybody is like, you're here. And not a braggadocious way, but just the energy the energy shifts. So do you feel like I know what you're going to say, but a lot of people feel like, you shouldn't be a prissy girl if you're going to be a leader. Like nobody's going to listen to you like they should.
I believe that those people need to do a little bit soul searching, because I think that that is a problem with what's wrong with us as a whole, where we think that you got to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that Black women are looked at just from all different angles, where there's no right way we're supposed to be. Because if I fit that persona, then someone else is going to say that I'm the angry Black female.
Yeah. Because that's what I was about to say.
So where is it?
You're the angry Black female. Yeah.
So where is it where it's just level, and it doesn't matter that if I come in, and not even necessarily that I gotta have on a tulle dress, like I can come in a pantsuit and still have that feminine, or laugh, shake hands, and still get up there and give a speech that's gonna make you want to change your life.
Yeah, I think that we got it the hardest.
I believe that we have it the hardest. And I believe that for several reasons, including how we look at our own kind.
Mm, because we're the most judgmental against each other.
Each other. Yes.
I don't think white women look at other white women and judge each other like we do.
And again, I take it back to slavery because I think that's why. But yeah, I do not believe that. Even when I was like in the office in the workforce, I don't ever remember hearing those type of catty conversations from Caucasian women that Black women would have. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I definitely believe in our culture that I know for a fact that we are like that amongst one another. I even think about, because you know I'm a music girly, when there's women artists, they always put the women against each other. It's never like when a man come out, it ain't like, oh, so-and-so trying to be like so-and-so. They're just all accepted.
Like the Nicki Minaj and
Yes.
the Cardi B's and
Yes.
they got them all not liking each other.
Exactly.
All of them. None of them get along. Yeah. Megan Thee Stallion. It's like, who's the best female? Like they have pitted them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, why do we have to do that with our women? Like, what is it about us that we have this struggle, so to speak?
And you say you could pit it back to slavery, but yeah, you could pit it back all the way back there because they made us their maids, their sex slaves, their babysitters, and if you was the pretty one or the pretty one, then you got treated better.
Yes.
So maybe that's why, and they wasn't the leader either. They was just the, but the one that probably was aggressive or whatever is.
Or how we be like you in the house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's all of these different traits where I feel like at the end of the day, it's only one thing that we want, and that's love. But that one thing that we want, we don't know how to give to one another.
And that's what I'm trying to be better at. I'm trying to show love.
This hat ain't it. I gotta loosen this up.
No, that's cute though. Why you lift it up? It's too tight.
It was tight.
It was cute though. It's still cute lip raised up though.
Okay, we just gonna take it off.
You gonna take it off? Oh, okay. Let's tear it out.
Keep going.
I think that I'm trying to show love now to everybody around me. It's becoming easier for me to tell people when I leave their presence I love them, which used to be a struggle. Remember we talked about that. Last night my a couple of friends was over, and before they left, I was hugging them like, I love you. And it came with ease to do that. I even tell some clients, all right, I'll see you later. I love you. People that's been coming to me for years, because I do love them, and I want them to know.
That's something that I've always struggled with outside of my family and my friends. I remember back in the day when I was really deep into my shopping, and it was a particular store that I went to all the time. And one of the sales girl, who's actually still in my life now, I remember one time she was just like, okay, love you. And I walked out and left. And I remember my son was with me. And I was like, why did she tell me she loved me? That was weird. And he was just like, she might love you, Ma. I was just like, that was just weird. And, I just moved on because I always think about that. Remember the other day I told you that I gave the homeless man some money. And then he was just like, love you. And I was just like, this is weird. He was like, God bless you.
He said, love you.
He was like, God bless you, love you.
And you didn't say nothing?
I let my window back up because I was just like, okay, I already did something that I struggle with because I hear Keisha's voice in my head saying, just give him the money. And now he done told me he loved me. And now I'm just freaking out because
I think about how, I don't know if it's a story or somebody has preached about or whatever, and they say you never know who you are blessing. When you do something like that, you never know who you come into contact with. So I didn't know the man told you he loved you, but him telling you love you makes me feel like he was like an angel or something. That like, you know.
Yeah, he literally said love you. And I was just like, I've never had this experience before. I'm like, just
You didn't even want to give him the money. You probably heard me in your head, like, give him the money.
Yeah, I literally heard that. Like, give him the money. Like, oh, I don't have nothing in my how you be. And I was like, this is all I got. And I gave him the last cash that was in there. And he was just like, thank you, love you. And he went and sat back down. And I never said you're welcome. I didn't open my mouth. I was like, he just said he loved me. This is weird. And so it's interesting that, you know what I'm saying, we bringing that up. But I think that saying I love you is just another form of showing appreciation.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I'm taking the love way to the extreme. Like,
Yeah.
I don't love nobody but you know what I'm saying, my family and my close friends, when it really don't, that's really not the state of it.
That's part of my self-reflection. Going back to that, it's part of my self-reflection on how I treat everybody. Like, you know, even in the uncomfortable moments like that, like, this is uncomfortable. I got to do what's uncomfortable, and it makes me feel better. And not that it's trying to make me feel better, but I want my character to be better. I want my character to be something that.
But I don't think it's anything wrong with doing something and acknowledging that it makes you feel better. I feel like so many things that we do leaves us in a lack mindset, so to speak. Just like how when we talked about money, when it's just like, no, we need that. It's okay. Let's quit acting like we don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Because we done trained our minds like, well, you know, I did that and no, I don't need anything from it, but I'm a giver. I feel good when I give. I'm not necessarily doing it to feel good. Like, I'm just not going to, like, I'm going to get this Keisha, she going to be happy and then I'm going to feel good. No, but I can acknowledge that when I see you smile, even as simple as me telling you your hair cute, you know, it's like, oh, that was nice. That warmed my heart. Like, she liked that. So now that I think about it, that was probably just that moment of me handing him that money, because Lord knows how many cars had went past.
And you know how good.
And you know what caught my attention?
What?
He was reading a book.
Was he?
That's what caught my attention. It was the book. I was like, he reading a book? What book is he reading?
Probably a Bible I gave him.
It wasn't. But that was what caught my attention. Otherwise, I just would have had tunnel vision, like, come on, green light.
Yeah, but it was something that you could relate to. Yeah. I'm so glad you did that. Did you feel good? Or you didn't feel anything different?
I didn't feel anything different. I didn't feel worse, though. Because, you know, that's one thing I can't acknowledge, that I've done some things and I've felt worse afterward. But I didn't feel like, oh, okay, girl, you did that. It was just like, okay, you did it. Nah, keep going.
I believe like we already abundant in life, but I believe that part of when I started doing that, you know, trying to be a giver to people homeless and the needy and everything, it was like, you gotta, and this is a lesson I told my son this week too. I was like, the more you give, the more, and you're not doing it to get anything back, but the more you're going to get back. And it may not always be financial. It's just going to be something great given back to you, whether it's peace of mind, joy, just having a good day. I was like, you really. And so when I give like that, I'll be like, thank you, Lord, because I know you're going to give back to me in some great way.
My mother was a giver, and she would do nice things for people, and people would take advantage of her. And I remember one particular situation. Someone needed a ride to the airport. She gave them a ride to the airport. They forgot something at home. My mother took them back home and took them back to the airport. And this person did not offer my mother a coin. I was on fire.
Yeah.
As the eldest daughter, I'm on fire. Like, okay. Like, I literally wanted to catch a flight.
And like, they didn't offer her, let me give you this.
And
for all
my
your
mom
trouble.
was just like, she was hurt of course, because she was just like, I didn't do it for something, but just the fact that I took you, came back and did all of that, it should have been more gratitude with it versus just like, oh, thank you, like
entitlement.
Yeah, it wasn't like even the extra sugar on top, thank you, like she didn't make 2 trips. And my mom lived right by the airport, so for her to take anybody to the airport was just like wow, because they live within 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
So I will never forget, and this is something that she always said, was she was just like, gotta take care of me. I will always have what I need. She's just like, because I don't do it for something. She said, but it's nothing wrong with feeling appreciated and knowing that you appreciate it. And when you don't, that's when it hurt. But we talked about that too, even with our kids. Like, we do things because we're supposed to as the parent, but we still want to feel appreciated. Mm-hmm. But I'll never forget that she was just like that, like, oh no, I'll be taken care of, like it'll come back, I'll know. Yeah. But it still be the process of working through the hurt.
You got that part. Like, you gotta work through the hurt. You gotta work through the feeling unappreciated. It'd be so many things that we put, and I say we, because I just be like self-reflecting that we put people through that we have to work through. And
yes. Yeah. And that's why I say back to that people pleasing thing, where it's just like, not the people pleasing where you emptying your own cup, but the actual balance where you know who that other person is in your life. Like how we said, learning their love language and what's important to them. Because words of affirmation might have helped my mama out that day versus then I forgot something at home. Can you take me back?
Girl, woo, we be so entitled, thinking we just
like it's supposed to. Yeah. Like, no, nothing is just supposed to.
That's crazy. Supposed to. Listen, y'all in our girl chat for real, because we done really jumped from subjects. Yeah, this is how easy it is to go from things, but it all relates to what we were talking about in the beginning. Narcissistic behavior, entitlement.
I think that's what I enjoy though about our girl chat, how we decided to do this. And like you say, the conversation just flows. It's not like okay, today we're going to talk about narcissists. And we didn't research and gave our, you know what I'm saying? It just comes off natural.
Yeah. I don't research any topic. And I literally will think, oh, this may be something if I'm hearing something, I'll be like, maybe we'll talk about this one day. I'll never be like, okay, on Thursday. I literally have never thought on Thursday we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this next week.
I've never have that. It may be something like general, like, oh, I wanted to bring this up. I saw this, and I didn't text you about it and waited, but I never have an agenda.
No.
But I will say when we leave this, it does almost always cause me to do some research then, and not like research like I'm necessarily learning more on something, but research as a self-reflection. And I would hope, really, and I don't know if we've ever said this, but I really hope that the people that listen to the podcast, that this is something that you're doing. We are inviting you into our girl chat, but trust me, Spirit is not placing this on us just to talk about.
And it's actually not easy to talk about personal things that's happened in our lives.
Because some of it is embarrassing. Like, some of it is embarrassing that I don't even want to admit, like, that I did that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God for growth. But we're just not sharing these intimate stories just to sit back and be like, oh, yeah, that was a good podcast. Like, please listen to the topic and do some self-reflection.
Listen, embarrassing is not even a word, because I'll be starting to say something and I'll be like, oh, I can't believe I'm about to say it. But now I got to finish it, because I believe that God gives me something to share that may help somebody else.
Yes, absolutely.
Period, point blank. It's never to offend anybody, especially people that's been in my life, and if they listen to it, they know I'm talking about them. And I'm like, I'm not doing it, especially the guys I've dated. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm not.
But you know, it's really just an example of you you we want to be better. We want to help other people be better. We want people to understand with no judgment. Like, this is a no judgment zone for real.
For real. For real.
It's a straight up no judgment zone. And that's why when I have conversations with others about different things, whether it be relationships or church, whatever, a lot of times I'll just be like, okay, that's nice. Because sometimes I don't know how to reply without coming off as judgmental. So I don't say anything because I don't want to be judgmental because, you know, but
it takes me back to how I be like, because my law is my law. Like,
yeah,
where it's just like, I'm not judging you, but, you know, so I get that because I too, I don't have very many conversations like that because most of mine are.
They ask you for advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the ones where I do, especially like in the work type situation, it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm a hold back, you know, because some of those settings are even still a little bit more intimate where I want to say something. I'm just like, okay, you know what? That's not your place. Just be quiet, because I don't want to be judgmental, but I also like for a conversation to flow to see other people's opinions.
That part.
Even when we come on here, a lot of things that we agree on, but I just think it's because of where we are and in alignment with our life, but we don't always agree on everything.
I think that people probably would think we agree on everything,
but we don't.
We don't.
We don't. Not at all.
We don't.
And it'd be okay. It'd be like, okay.
Yeah, it'd be like, it's no, I'll ever try to get her to see something my way that she feels another way about. It's not about persuading.
That's the word. That is the word. Persuading. Because we will have these conversations and I can tell you how I do and what I think. You can tell me what you do and what you think, but it's not persuading the other person to adopt that belief. I feel like a lot of conversations, people are trying to persuade you.
And I'm not I'm not going to persuade anybody to. That's where I used to be a persuader. Like, you should this, you should, but I'm just not in a persuasive mentality now. Now don't get me wrong. If somebody is talking about something where I feel like it's something where I can give a piece of advice to help, then yeah, I'll do that. But I'm not trying to persuade your mindset to come to my mindset, because God gave us all a different brain. And the way I understand things is going to be completely different from the way
someone else does.
Because even with us reading the same book, we understand stuff differently when we read it. And I'd be like, oh, this is what I got out. You be like, yeah, I got this. And it'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just me. I can't.
If anything, I'm enlightened to have a different perspective on it. Not necessarily saying that some things it'd be like, oh, okay, like that shedded a whole new light. Now I have my own opinions changed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's not always the case, and that is okay.
You hear that?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes, that is okay. It is okay to have two different opinions.
And I think that is probably where we need to close, because I don't want to be judgmental, and I'm not trying to persuade anybody. If anything, I want people to listen and have an open mind and be self-aware. One thing about me is I become self-aware about myself and my flaws and my good things. Like, that's a good trait about me.
Yes.
But this right here is something I need to. And one area where I work on it particularly is in my parenting. Because I'm like, I want to raise good, kind human beings. I don't want to raise narcissistic kids. because a lot of times it starts at home.
It most definitely starts at
It
home.
started at home. So right now, I'm like self-aware for myself, and I'm self-aware that where I need to be helping them become good, kind humans that have a relationship with God. Period. Point blank. I don't want to raise no narcissistic, entitled, think everything, should go their way kids. Because then they're going to have toxic trauma relationships, friendships, and marriages. And I'm not doing it. So that's all I got.
I think my biggest thing now is definitely with my self-reflection is owning the good things about me and accepting them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I've poured and uplifted everyone else and not myself.
Mm-hmm.
Where now it's just like you good, girl, and that's okay. So it's okay to love yourself. It's okay while you hyping everybody else like, oh, you so pretty. It's okay to feel that you're pretty. So that's why every time I come on here and I talk about these live shit, okay, and my enhancement. But I really definitely think my biggest journey in this chapter of my life is me working on me and being open and just being better and being better for those that I love and not in an enabling way.
Yes.
And learning to love people where they're at.
Yeah.
Not where I want them to be or where I expect them to be.
Or where you think they should be.
Or where I think they should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even as a parent, we want the best for our kids and we see the trophy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they warming up, stretching. They ain't even started the race yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning to be like, oh, okay, he's stretching right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to meet you at the stretch.
That's a good analogy.
Even though I see you the first place winner.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet you right here and I'm going to coach you through this warm up.
Yeah. That's good.
Because that's where you have to meet people where they are. Mm-hmm. And that's been my biggest lesson.
Amen.
Right now.
Amen. Okay. Listen, we want y'all to like, listen, subscribe. We see that the views are there, but we want more commentary on what y'all think about. Don't secretly watch. Okay, that was a long pause. Wasn't expecting that. Don't secretly watch and then don't, and not say anything and then text us later and say, that was really good. Tell us in the comments what you think. We do this because we love getting together to talk, and this spiritual growth has really just changed our lives. It's definitely changed our lives. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, I'm with Keisha with wanting y'all to comment and like and tell a friend, but I really definitely want it to be more than just, oh, I listened to your podcast. I really want people to do some self-reflection because as we grow, I want the viewers to grow with us because if you're in the same place where you were and you watching us every week, and nothing's changing, something is not right because that is not what our ministry of doing this podcast is. No, if nothing is changing, if you're just listening to listen on a surface level to say, I listen to y'all, but you're not thinking about any conversation we've had on a deeper level, then it's really about doing the work. Yes, it's like really today, walk away with what are your narcissistic traits because we all have it. What relationships do you need to tend to better? Even especially parenting, because a lot of times parents think that they're so good, but you may need to meet that child and love that child differently because you can speak for this. I can speak for this from having a sibling, but I've only had one child, but your children are not the same. So you can't parent them the same way. I can't. And you can expect that the way one may have hurt you, that the other one is, so it's definitely time to do a deeper dive and self-reflection. And why does a woman being in her soft femininity bother you? Why do you think she can't lead?
because I want, and I'm saying this like from my own personal thing, because how I envision my life is being a leader. Like they tell people, you know what I'm saying, keep your stuff to yourself. But if this is what we're doing and we're speaking to women and we want this to grow where we're continuously speaking to women, I want to be a part of this journey with you as a spokeswoman, but I still want to be the softest version of me that I have ever been in my life.
Yes.
Because that girl that I used to be at 19 years old, being hard, trying to take care and carry my stuff and everybody else's, she don't reside here no more.
And
but I still know how to do that. But I don't have to act.
And that's actually not a braggadocious thing to be like, I take care of everything. I do everything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
Why? You broken.
Yeah.
Why?
We gonna do it because God allowing us to do it. We gonna take care of it. We gonna have everything we need.
But if I recall correctly, it's 2 or more is when he in the midst of it. So I'm gonna need you to always remember you need somebody else. He's that for me.
Yeah.
Not saying that you can't do it by yourself, but when I think of that, and I know we on the close, when I think of that, Keisha, I think of that as my personal reminder that I don't have to carry this journey alone. That it is, and outside of me being spiritual and putting my prayer in and trusting the Most High on my way, that He is going to place somebody here physically on earth to help me because I need help. I need assistance. Do you hear that click? Okay. We on the close. And so I don't know what's happening. It's a lot of stuff going on.
It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
Jesus.
But yeah, I think it's like y'all done said what y'all need to say. So like, listen, subscribe, share with a friend. We're gonna probably start going live. I'm going to say next week. Next week we're gonna go live and talk about some of this stuff. We'll revisit some of our prior topics and tell somebody. So next week, Thursday, we're gonna go live, and we're gonna have some great live conversations. So y'all tune in. We will see y'all next week.